touchdown.
The route, and Randy Moss, without even really being able to run, as he shoots the moon to the
pass, pumps to the left, 8 seconds left. He gets away from the pressure, fires to the end zone. It's caught! It's Greg Lewis! Oh my heavens! Greg Lewis's first catch has given the Minnesota.
Four, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And everybody to another episode of House Calls with Skoldoc. I am Dr. Alexander Lawson, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm here with Dave. Dave, are you ready for game day? Not only is it game day, but it's Packers game day. Ready to kick that ass. How you doing, man?
Dude, the only focus we should have is, talking about how great this team has been playing and nothing else, and how we're going to beat that ass tomorrow or today. If you're watching this, we filmed at midnight. So let's go. We're getting ready. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight for the ass whooping we're about to lay on the Packers. I'm starting from the get-go here on this show. I'm not giving you my score prediction yet, but you probably will be able to figure it out by the time I get there. Let's go.
Yeah, and it's set to be a great game. If you, we were all on Twitter, and the Packer fans are oddly super confident for this game, and the Vikings fans, we're super confident for this game. It's a 2-point spread right now favoring the Packers, but a lot of the sharp money coming in on the game is actually on the Vikings. So a lot of the bettors are actually betting on the Minnesota side. And we'll talk about, how we're feeling about the game and our picks later on. But, yeah, man, hopefully the Vikings can just keep this train rolling. They've not only been winning, but they've been dominating some teams. And here's another Packers team. I think it's a great team, a good test for the Minnesota Vikings to go up against. And I think Kevin O'Connell will have the boys ready to go.
Yeah, I started, watching some breakdowns of Sam Darnold, and, I make no qualms about it. I was a detractor of getting him. And I'm just warming more and more up to him. And I feel like it's not the same guy I looked at. And you just mentioned Kevin O'Connell, man, has got this team bought in early. It's never been more prepared than it has until this year. I think each year you took a step. Honestly, he took a step back last year because of the turnovers, but he was able to show adversity last year, coming back, bringing us to 6-4. Here we are 3-0. I think this is a game that we're finally going to just see the whole game. The offense put their foot on the gas, and we didn't even do that. I don't think we've unleashed that offense yet. And last week we didn't have a lot of offensive yards, but we had, we capitalized on every opportunity, and we had a lull the second quarter in the early in the first half. We went like a whole, 15, 16 minutes of just boredom, but we bookended with, a lot of good things, and we just, we capitalized when we got to the goal line. I just think this offense is going to get unleashed against the Packers.
I agree. So let's break down the Vikings offense against the Packers defense. And first of all, the weather is going to be great today. Very little wind. It's going to be nice and sunny. Great day for football in Lambeau. So the elements really aren't going to be a factor in this game. Field should be in great shape at this time of year. So I don't think we're going to see a repeat of slipping and sliding all over the place. And the Vikings certainly have talked about this. I think they're going to have the right cleats. So I don't think that's going to be an issue for this game. But we get Jordan Addison back for this game. And I think that's a big addition. That's great to have your number 2 wide receiver back. And that puts Jalen Naylor back in wide receiver 3. It opens things up for everybody, including Justin Jefferson, and even more so probably for Naylor. And that's just going to make more running lanes for Aaron Jones too. And the Vikings have been great at running the football actually so far with an EPA in top 5 with running the football. And this is a Packers defense that's pretty good at stopping the run. And so it's going to be a nice matchup today on both sides of the ball to see who can stop the run better. And that's going to go a long way in determining the winner of this football game. And then obviously when the Vikings are on offense, Packers are on defense, we're going to have to watch out for Kenny Clark. Now, he's been slowed up so far this early season with a toe injury. I'm guessing it might be turf toe. I actually saw a patient yesterday in the office with turf toe. It's terrible, right?
Painful.
It is. It's super painful. You can't really extend your big toe. So you try to lift up that big toe joint. It's just very painful on the bottom of the toe. So you have to splint it. They put a steel shank in your shoe. But the issue with that is you lose a lot of explosion when you can't extend that joint. So that's an issue. And the Pack, if you talk to Packer fans, they've noticed this, that Kenny Clark does not look like the same Kenny Clark as of late. So we'll see how effective he is against Ingram and Bradbury. If we can slow down that interior rush, I believe in our tackles to take away Gary and Van Ness to give Darnold some time. So I do like the Vikings matchup against the Packers defense this week. And, oh, by the way, Jair Alexander, in my opinion, is not going to play in this game. He's questionable. He did not practice on Friday with a quad injury. It didn't sound positive from LaFleur that he was going to be able to play. And then the biggest evidence was today they elevated 2 practice squad corners to the active roster, which tells me that not only Jair might not play, but their other cornerback, Valentine, may not play. That's big for the Vikings to take advantage of those corners with some play action. So, Dave, what do you think about the offense?
Well, the 2 things that you brought up is the running game and just looking even more at what Bradbury to the left side has been doing is great. Yeah, they're moving bodies. Bradbury is, I think, by far having his best year. I think I did not know Brandel was as good a run blocker as he is. I had no idea he had that in his bag. Obviously, Darisaw is just a different human. So that left side of that line is spectacular. Ed Ingram still gives up bad plays, but this team's moving the ball on the ground has a lot to do with how well that left side of the line is. Now you brought up Jordan Addison's healthy again, or going to be playing. He was off the injury report, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And Jalen Naylor's been stepping up. The key there is because Brandon Powell is basically getting replaced by Jordan Addison. All right. So, and then Jordan Addison, it's almost like maybe Powell can do things Naylor can't, like short area quickness and stuff and being sneaky, get open. But Naylor is a complete receiver. He just might not have a few of the tools Powell has, and Powell's pretty clutch. Well, Jordan is all that. Jordan Addison is all that. He's like, put those 2 players combined. He is those 2 players combined. So I just feel we got a complete player with Jordan Addison, and we have a very crafty, great hands receiver with Naylor. I think someone was bringing up, and I forget who it was, but do we really have 3 deep now? Now, keep in mind, in 2022, the 3 receivers we had more yards than the 3 deep from the 1998. Now, you wouldn't feel like they were they beat them in yards, but they did. But this may be that situation where we have 3, wide receiver 2s or better on our team, maybe a 1A, a 1B, and a 1C. And, I think we got it. And then throw that running game in there, just going to open things up. And that's what I'm talking about. This is the breakout game for the offense. I feel it's the break with Aaron Jones coming in, wanting to prove himself. You got rid of me. I'm a fan favorite. I carried you to the playoffs last year, or through the playoffs last year. Hey, I'm coming back to show you what you're missing. Especially with them, saying that he's not going to be any different. It's not going to be a big deal for him to come here. Yeah. It is. He's coming to show you.
Yeah, I think that Aaron Jones is going to have a hell of a game. It just feels like it's set up for that, right? I
100%.
think I'm going to put a small bet down on him scoring 2 touchdowns in this game, just because it feels like, and obviously the Vikings are going to do everything they can to get him into the end zone, right?
He's 100% getting a touchdown. That
Yeah, I just feel
Lambeau
like
leap's
that's a
coming.
lock. Yeah, I feel
It's a
like that's a
Lambeau leap
lock.
coming.
Yeah. Yeah, anything else that you want to talk about in the offense before we transition to Vikings defense against Packers offense?
Just a few more, points about Sam Darnold. Now, I always talk about recency bias. We see flaws in our own players because that's who we watch, and then we watch highlights of other players, and everything looks great and hunky dory, or they don't, and then they're just crap because they lost that game. They're showing the bad things that quarterback did. So either they're crap or they're glorious. In our situation, I do see things where he might have missed a guy like Justin Jefferson, scrambling around the back of the end zone, scramble drill. He catches him in the front of the end zone for a touchdown. He was open a lot earlier than that. He was open, and he could have threw it in the corner for him to just run underneath it, but he was late. But the great thing about it, that's one of the 2 or 3 mistakes a quarterback's going to make in the game. He had the athleticism to get outside, run to his left, be patient enough to wait for Jefferson to get open. Jefferson, it was like a shooting guard going without the ball, right? And he hit him. He hit him open. He lost his defender. That's the kind of thing you can make up for mistakes, and he did that. And I see those things in him, and he's looking off receivers, and he's seeing guys cross his face and realizing he's open and changing his plan and giving Aaron Jones a chance at the end zone. He's doing those things. Now, obviously, shout out to the offensive line for letting him, but Sam Darnold is growing on me enough to where people are upset at me because I'm talking about it on Twitter that Sam Darnold is doing fine. And I don't think we should talk about getting rid of him just now when we're 3-0 in the season. I think I save that shit for the end of the season. I'm riding this guy to the playoffs, man.
Yeah,
I don't want
absolutely.
to talk about replacing him this early.
Right. So if you look at Sam Darnold, everyone's waiting for him to turn back into a pumpkin. Right. That's the thing. And if you look at the way that he's playing, nothing is fluky right now. His turnover worthy plays are top 5 in the NFL. He is not putting the ball in harm's way, all right, compared to other quarterbacks in the league. So he is playing point guard the way that the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell wanted him to come in here, just play point guard. And it's been great. I don't think it's been fluky, and I think it's sustainable. Now, he has been pressured on like 40% of his dropbacks, a little high. I'd like to see that number come down just a little bit. And a lot of that is probably, we know it's the right guard and it's the center. Now, Garrett Bradbury was banged up at the end of last game. He did not look right against the Texans in the second half. I'm hoping that he's healthy enough. And, hey, that's a weak spot right there still, is up the middle right guard. So, Ed Ingram's on a short leash. When Dalton Reisner comes back, if he's healthy enough, we may see him pulled, and we might see Reisner take over that right guard spot. Who knows? But if we're surprised and the Packers just are all over our offense, it's going to be the interior pressure that's to blame for that. And as long as they shore that up and they don't let the interior defensive line for the Packers wreak havoc, I think this offense is going to have a great day.
Yeah, I was being told the narrative about Sam Darnold is going to come in here because Justin Jefferson believes so much more in him to throw him the deep ball and give him chances down the field, and gunslinger, I was told, of Sam Darnold. You said it perfectly, point guard, and that's what we needed. And the occasional rip that he just unleashes because he's got this freaking solid arm, and that would, obviously. And one of the things I've noticed about him that I didn't see before was his confidence and awareness in the pocket.
Right.
He's stepping up. He's avoiding pressure. His body control and is, him being able to step up, be out of position and get into position right away. And his eyes downfield, and he's tall in the pocket. His footwork is planning at the top of the drop. He's not fading. That was the worst thing I saw with the Pasternaut last year is you'd get to the back of his drop and continue to fade. And then he was dropping too far back for his tackles who were expecting him to be a yard or two up, closer to the line. That's the kind of thing. Sam Darnold doesn't do that. And I think that was a bigger difference between Cousins to going to the Pasternaut is because Kirk Cousins, drops were consistent. Sam Darnold's are consistent. And and with pressure, he's able to step up and move around and get out of the pocket. Maybe that Kirk couldn't do. And he's physically harder to bring down. Just physically, he's just bigger, bigger, stronger guy. So there's so much more things that there's a reason I can see now why he was I think the 3rd overall draft pick. I can see that why people saw that in him now. Yeah, I didn't see it in his college tape, honestly, but I can see now though.
He's got the NFL arm. He's got a very good arm. And, previously when he was with the organizations, the Jets, the Panthers, he felt like he had to do it all himself. And that's why he got into trouble. And that's why his career went down the path that it went. But now he has help and he still has that great arm. And we're seeing what he's capable of, which right now is, I believe he still leads the NFL in touchdown passes.
Yeah.
And
8.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going anywhere.
This is 2 years in a row this early in the season. We've been, leading the league with touchdown passes. It's crazy.
Kevin O'Connell, great offensive caller, right? He comes up with great passing plans in the red zone that gets guys open. He needs to our team needs to get better at playing bully football inside the 10, in my opinion, running the ball and running downhill when it's smash mouth football time. That's something that we
agree with that.
Aren't really seeing, and maybe it's just offensive line construction. I'm not sure. But that's kind of like the one thing I'd like to see a little bit more is, hey, we're going to run the ball. We know we're going to run the ball, and it doesn't matter. We're going to run it right down your throat. I still don't think we're very good at that. But it doesn't matter necessarily right now as much so far through 3 games because our red zone efficiency has been so great with throwing the ball in the end zone. So
I think we do a lot of shotgun, down. I don't think it's, putting a guy under center.
Yeah, I recall,
wasn't it?
I think there was a play against the Texans where it was like 1st and goal from the 2. When we came out in shotgun and tried to run the ball, we lost like 3 yards. I'm like, why?
Every fucking time I see that, I just want to shoot myself.
Yes,
I'm like, okay. I mean, not on 1st down.
No.
Not on 1st down because it totally limits you from doing play action.
It's so totally easy. Limits you. It's just so easy to give up penetration to the defense on that type of play and lose 3 yards. And now your statistical chance of scoring a touchdown goes down significantly because you lost 3 yards from the 2 to the 5 or to the 6. So,
yeah, they'll never listen to us. A good point too would be like, look, the thing that Bears really screwed up on, and I bring this up. Bears screwed up on is they didn't fire their coach.
Yeah,
and
we all called that.
They kept him. And they should, and it was just sheer arrogance of a GM to say, I would rather give up Fields and keep that coach. He would have been better off just getting rid of both of them and getting some guy in there that says, hey, I'm bringing in these receivers. I'm bringing in this new quarterback. You take it over, man. I'm believing you. But he was so stuck on the fact that he didn't want to say he screwed up getting that coach.
I could talk all day about the things that the Bears fuck up because I live in Chicago, so I am in tune with this football team here and how my family feels about this football team. That team has problems, and we all knew at the time that they should have fired Eberflus. Even Bears fans, they knew that they should have fired Eberflus because even if the offensive coordinator came in and was worth a damn, that guy's going to get another job somewhere else. Usually those guys get hired and they leave, and then you have to go through getting your new young quarterback, another offensive coordinator, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, this is the worst scenario where the offensive coordinator looks hopeless and your coach is probably going to get fired by the end of the year unless they drastically improve. And now you're starting over with everything. But that's here nor there. Let's go back into the Vikings. It's Packers week. Let's talk about Vikings versus Packers here. And let's jump onto the defensive side of the ball for the Vikings. So, obviously, it's going to be more difficult to play the way that the Vikings defense played against the Niners and against the Texans at home, because the crowd plays so much into those 3rd and longs and into the deception that the Vikings are able to do. And the Vikings defense is very good at communicating non-verbally and being on the same page, to whereas playing in Lambeau this week, the offense is going to be able to communicate. They're going to be able to use hard counts to try to get you to bluff and show what you're doing before the snap. So that's going to be more difficult in terms of just doing what Flores likes to do. But let's talk about this. So Jordan Love, it's been cited by Schefter and others that he will be active tomorrow. Okay, but they did not say that he would start. Did you find that interesting? Do you find that possibly they could roll with both quarterbacks? Do you expect Love to start and play the entire game? How do you feel about that?
I feel like he's going to start. You don't activate him if he's not going to play. You don't put him out there to be your backup if he's hurt.
Yeah, I agree. If you didn't have the confidence in him to play the entire game, I don't think you would play him for part of the game. You know what I mean? Like if he's ready to go, I think he's going to go. But
they're 2-1. It's not worth the risk, right?
Yeah. Now, I saw some stuff out there that was saying that he does not. There's some people out there, I don't know who this was driven by. A lot of Packer fans are saying this, but they're saying, oh, he's ready. He's 100%. He's ready to go. They wouldn't put him out there if there's no risk of re-injury. That's not true, okay? He sprained his MCL, okay? There is a risk of re-injury with this. There's also a risk that it's going to flare up, become painful and swollen, and he will continue to be limited by this injury unless it's completely healed and behind him. So what I'm believing here is that knee is going to be sore for several more weeks, okay? His mobility, when we watch him tomorrow, I think you're going to watch a quarterback and you're going to say, yeah, he looks kind of stiff. That doesn't look like Jordan Love in terms of the way that he's able to just naturally move around and then fling the football. And he's got a hell of an arm, so I think we're going to see some throws tomorrow that is just all arm and no lower body, and it's going to be like, oh, wow, like that looked pretty good. But if the Vikings move him off his spot, I think it's going to look different, and I think that the Vikings have a chance to really pressure the hell out of him if his mobility is limited tomorrow, despite the Packers having a good offensive line, because we know that the Vikings will confuse you to get a free rusher here or there. The Vikings are leading the NFL in pressure rate and leading the NFL in sacks, and I think that that's not going to change despite not being in Minnesota. Just it'll go down a little bit, but they're still going to pressure Jordan Love tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the pressure; it's the absolute confusion that these quarterbacks have had. And there's NFL analysts live on air going, I have no idea what they're doing. After the games, watching film, and then they get on TV and they go, I don't understand what they're doing here. I can't tell what they're going to bring, and to show the same type of setup and be either man or Tampa 2, and you can't tell if it's either. It's so crazy to me because we've lived through a Tampa 2 defense before, and or in the Donna shell defense, and knew exactly what was going to happen before the play as just layman's, imbeciles in the NFL world, knowing exactly what was going to happen. We've gone through that with 2 different coaches over time. This is just beyond amazing to me.
This is what's called a dynamic defense, because people are always moving. It's not static. You don't line it up and show your cards and say, okay, this is what we're in, beat it. That's what the Chicago Bears do, right? That's not what this team does. It's fun to watch. I love this style of football. It's very clear. We've talked about this. The opposing quarterback takes the snap, and it takes a second for them to just look and say, what the hell is going on? Where is everybody? And then it seems like they just panic. And that's been a lot of fun to watch so far.
It's almost like watching a hitter in baseball. You gotta figure it's coming at you 80 or coming at you 95, 105, somewhere around in between there. You
got them down to 0-2, and you throw that nasty slider, and they do that.
And you thought it was a fastball, right?
Yeah, and they just look stupid. That's a great analogy.
They just look stupid. And that's the thing. You got 2.5 seconds to get rid of that ball.
Yeah.
And you spent two of that figuring out what the defense is who's coming and who's going. You can't tell I feel like the quarterbacks have not been able to tell pre-snap. And it's funny because you see quarterbacks in old clips and stuff like going, "Oh, he's coming. Okay." He knows exactly what the defense does. And they hit the open guy touchdown. You see those clips on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, whatever. They can't do that with this defense. I haven't yet to see an optional. God, they really had us. It was because the player got beat on a route, or we maybe a mistake. Or just a good play. We haven't been like, oh, they got us on that one. Like they really got us. I haven't seen that yet, really.
Yeah. Two things. So I don't think this defense was really tested. Maybe in the Niners game a little bit.
More so in the Niners, I felt.
With a good run offense, the Packers are going to try to establish the run tomorrow. That's going to be the biggest key on defense. We got to stop the run first and foremost and get them into some second and third and longs. That's going to make life very difficult for LaFleur and Jordan Love and the Packers. So that's the biggest test tomorrow. As always, tie or win the turnover battle. KOC is 20-0, now 21-0, I believe, in that stat when they are able to accomplish that. So, but from my mindset, stopping the run is going to be key tomorrow. We might see some of those bigger guys like Taimani playing a little bit more in this ball game.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to, are you a 3-4 or are you a 4-3? Who we playing?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's when I fell in love with them. I was like very lukewarm about bringing Brian Flores in because for some reason as a head coach he stopped becoming the defensive play caller for a couple of his seasons, and I was like, why do you do that? I don't get it. And then the whole Tua thing, I'm like, all right, okay, let's see what he got here. And then he came, and I was sold. And especially in the press conference, this guy wasn't going to be this is my defense. I do this. This is what made me who I am. And we're finding that you're kind of finding that out, I guess, in Dallas. I haven't really watched the game yet, but that's a train wreck. Now here it's this day with Brian Flores, it's like he's showing he is not limited now. He's not limited by personnel. He's got his players. Yeah, he can do the things he wants, and he's got a lot of intelligent players on his team.
Absolutely. Anything else that you wanted to touch on regarding Packers offense versus Vikings defense in this matchup? We got Dallas Turner coming back. He's going to be back. So we have that 4G pass rush again, which is going to be nice on third and long.
Up here. And kind of go through that.
Ivan Pace is out. So he's a great person to have in terms of run defense. He runs around with his hair on fire. So it's going to be on Grugier heel to pop in and take over. He had a good game last week against the Texans. He's not the biggest linebacker, so he's going to have to step up in the run game a little bit, help us out there.
Stephon Gilmore and Harrison Smith apparently got the whole week off, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and they're gonna. These are older vet guys, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I was like the whole week. It's like, but yeah, all right, they know what they're doing.
They've been talking about wanting to limit Harrison Smith's snaps, but Brian Flores has come out and said, "I just feel better when he's on the field." So the way they're going to limit his mileage is during the week,
which is smart. And you got Dallas Turner coming back. I didn't feel like I don't think we missed him. I don't think he's a difference maker yet. Obviously, it was otherworldly Grenard in there this past week. It didn't matter.
It's always nice to have more pass rushers. He's fast as hell
and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's like isn't it crazy that we played this last game and destroyed them without our 2 first-round picks this year, our first-round pick last year, and our first-round pick the year before. None of those players played in that game.
Yep.
Without any first-round picks from Kwesi's drafts. And some seconds.
Two quick things that I want to touch on before we pick this game. Both things are things that I've seen from the Packers community on Twitter. Number one, they feel and they truly believe that Jair Alexander has the upper hand on Justin Jefferson when they are matched up together. That's fucking laughable. I mean, that's just idiotic. And they're going to try to throw some numbers out there. And part of those
they're
numbers,
putting out games from like his rookie year where he wasn't starting.
Part of those numbers is Jaron Hall being his quarterback. Part of those numbers are when Justin didn't wear the right damn cleats along with half of the team, and they were slipping all over the place. I sent them back the game log from 2022 week 1 when JJ went for like 189 against Jair, 2 touchdowns at home. And I was like, trust me.
Playing zone.
Trust me. Justin owns everybody.
Okay, so
Jair Alexander does not have it up your hand.
We'll just bench Justin Jefferson and throw Jordan Addison at him.
Jordan Addison
he made your
Jair last year.
He destroyed
Cooked him.
Jair Alexander last year.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't even think Jair is playing.
Jair Alexander got 2 daddies.
Yeah.
And they both wear purple.
Yeah.
And you know what? Naylor could be a third papa, probably, over Jair Alexander.
The other thing from the Packers community that's just boiling my blood right now, they're trying to discredit the Brian Flores defense from playing the Giants week 1, a quote-unquote decimated Niners team week 2, decimated. They really only were missing Christian McCaffrey. Everybody else was healthy for that game, by the way.
And their backup running back went for a Hondo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then week 3, they played a Texans team who are frauds. Okay. This is a team who just come off beating 2 0-2 teams, by the way, talking shit, discrediting. And they go back to, we played the Flores defense in Minnesota last year, again, the Jaron Hall game, and we destroyed them, put up a ton of points. Like nothing's changed in the Flores system, the Flores scheme since we've played.
Yeah, we had no injuries,
right? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I got a lot of these bookmarks in my phone, ready to just throw some shit back in their face and make my Sunday a little bit better and make theirs a little bit worse. I'm excited for that. So with that, let's pick the game.
Before we give our prediction, let's go with the over-under. Pick 6.
Okay, let's do our pick 6.
All right. Starting off with the man, Will Reichard. We got 1.5 field goal.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick over every single week. It's just going to be a recurring over for me.
I think it's 1.5 too. So
it's
like,
part of that
you might need to mix it up and pull Reichard out for like a Ty Chandler or something sometime. Yeah,
we'll do that. My thing with Reichard is I just have trust in him. I don't think he's going to miss any field goals, and so I think he's good.
I think he hit the upright on purpose just to show how badass his leg is. He wanted to make sure everybody saw it.
Yeah. What's our next one?
Hey, look at Greg Joseph kicking 5 finals. What the hell?
Yeah. Greg the leg.
That's awesome. He almost beat, they almost beat him with Greg Joseph, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. All right. So we got Jets with, again, they gave the same number, 79.5, it looked like.
Yeah, I think Justin is going to murder this number, actually. It's trending like Jair Alexander is out, Valentine's out, so they're down to some practice squad corners. I think Justin's going to eat. I think he's going to have a couple big ones.
Yeah, and he had this at halftime against the Texans last week, and I think it's just going to be even worse this week.
Yep.
I'm expecting a big breakout game on offense. So, I asked you to put in Jordan Addison here because he's fresh back and he has 39.5. I think that's a low number.
I do too.
I went over.
Me too. I think that in the first half, I think he's going to have this. We saw him previously in that game against maybe it was the Giants. He had like 2 or 3 out routes for like 12, 15 a pop. That's his game, man. Like he's just such a smooth route runner that I think Sam's going to find him probably 3 or 4 times in the first half, 3 or 4 times in the second half. I think that Addison's probably going to have 8 targets in this game, catch like 6 balls, something like 70 yards. I think he goes over easy.
All right, we got Aaron Jones. This was just embarrassing that Vegas would put 59.5 yards on this dude
Yeah.
going to Lambeau.
Yeah, easy over for me. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
revenge
over
game.
too.
I think he's going to break 100.
Yeah, even more so the 2 touchdowns you talked about. It seems like we would just get him some tutties, and I want to see a Lambeau leap.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Got Sam Darnold. This is the breakout game for me, man. This is a breakout game. You got him?
Yeah, I think so. I just think that the Vikings offense is going to roll. So I'm giving me all the overs.
Yeah, I'm over on him too. I think this is the second time. Oh no, I went over against the Giants, I think, and then I didn't. I forget. We've only done this 3 times, so I know I did the over once, didn't get it, and then I went under, got it. Now I'm over again, and I'm going over not because I went under because I didn't have faith in him. I just thought we had short fields. We would have short fields, and we did, and
Mm-hmm.
we punched the ball in, and he didn't have to take us on the field quite a bit, and we kind of stalled out a little bit. But this week, I think we're unleashing hell in Green Bay, and it's going to be from the air, and Sam Darnold's going to lead us. I have no doubt. All right, and it's red Kool-Aid, not purple, that I'm drinking right now. So
Yeah. So Dave and I are in lockstep. All 6 of our picks are dead straight. We both went under on Jordan Love, 237 yards. Now my thought process is twofold on this. Number one, if they bring in Malik Willis for some packages to try to take some snaps off of Love, that's going to decrease Love's chances to throw for over 237. Number two, like I said, he's, in my opinion, not completely healed from the MCL. I think he's ready to play, but he does have a risk of re-injury. And if he gets hit quite a bit, he could come out of this game. And of course, Vikings fans, we are not going to celebrate that, right? Because we are above that. But I'm just saying that it's a possibility.
Yeah, we eliminate our fans that provoke injury or celebrate injury.
That's bullshit. We do not do that. But I mean, it's a possibility. He's coming off an injury. He's coming back. He may not finish the game. That's something we have to take into account. And therefore, I'm going to take the under. I just think it has a higher probability of hitting than the over.
I just think, not that we're going to injure him, but I think he just doesn't finish the game because we got a lead. He's taking a pounding. I don't even think he should play this week.
It could be like the CJ Stroud scenario, right?
What's
like
that?
The Vikings could be up big. It could be the CJ Stroud scenario again, where he just doesn't finish the fourth quarter because it's not a game.
Why risk it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no reason to risk your quarterback when we're, pounding you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And just remind everybody I'm leading.
Yeah, and it's going to stay that way because we picked the same.
It's going to stay that way this week, no matter how good or bad one of us does. And we alternate choosing first. So, yeah. So we try to eliminate the fact that we could just match each other. But, yeah, tell me. Well, I'll go first because this is your show. What I'm thinking about the Packers games. I said it in the beginning. I said it all the way through this show that I think this is going to be an epic beatdown in Green Bay that we're going to just smile about for the entire season. And Jesus, I needed to have Will Riker with two field goals, so I got to figure out my score again. But I am going to go 34-13. Minnesota Vikings, 3 touchdowns, going away. And one of the reasons is because they'll keep trying to. They won't kick it anymore. They'll try to get touchdowns. They'll give us up the ball a lot on 4th down. I feel like.
Yeah, I love it. I am right there with you, man. I mean, I'm trying not to be a homer here. I'm just looking at what I've seen for 3 weeks from the Minnesota Vikings.
It's red.
And they have not shown me yet a reason to doubt them, right? And so I'm going to pick them just like you did to win by multiple scores. I'm going to go 27-13. I like that. I like the 13 number that you threw out there. I think that they score a touchdown, maybe a couple of field goals, but I think the Vikings mostly shut the Packers offense down for a majority of this game. I'm going to even say that going into halftime, the Packers have 7 points or less going into halftime.
I can see that.
So
I can see that.
We're excited for tomorrow or for the game today because this video is going to be posted on Sunday morning. I'd hope the team follows through and proves us right, man. Because like I said, I got a lot of bookmarks to throw back.
We were freaking right last week.
Yeah, yes, we were.
I undersold it. We only beat them. We beat them by 17. Hold it.
We both picked a close game.
I picked 10 points.
Oh, okay. I think it was like a 3-point game.
You said 6. You
okay.
had them by 6. I had them by 10. But I think you were actually talking about how it'd probably be a little bit more. I think you toned it down, but you went with the 6. I think you were wanting to go, at least a touchdown. But yeah,
I just respected that wide receiver trio and CJ Stroud so much that I was like, I can't see them not scoring like 21 points in that game. But then the defense showed me, right? And this is a wide receiver trio that's not as good. They're deep, but they're not as good. And Jordan Love's coming off injury. I think the Vikings defense is just ready to eat again. Just go fuck them up.
And that's another thing. I just think our defense will just keep giving us the ball back, and we'll just be methodical and score. But I feel like we'll open it up a little bit more, especially if they, they're missing corners, right? So, saying Jair Alexander did not play is questionable. Another guy, I think they have another corner defensive back, Carrington Valentine. I don't really know who that is, but
that's their number 2.
Doubtful. Well, he's doubtful, so he's not playing. That's like 20. That's like 75% chance not playing. That's what that's supposed to be.
Yeah. Let's go. Skull.
All right. Let's go,
man.
I'm excited. Fuck. This is freaking awesome. I feel 4-0, man. Let's go.
Hell yeah. All right. Everybody join us. We are going to have a live show on Tuesday night to break down the game, answer everyone's questions, and then maybe do a little bit of preview for the London game against the Jets.
You got a great guest.
Yeah, and we have a guest, Dustin, coming to join us as well. So hit us up Tuesday night. All right.
And stick around 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. I'll be going live. I'll probably start a little early for like a pregame. So catch me live all throughout the game. Join the chat. Have some fun. Let's go.
Skull.
Skull.